if I saw something better, it's like, you know, if you invent a fusion reactor that can run a Tesla on a sugar cube for 100 years, and you ask me whether I would buy that instead of the Tesla, all other things being equal, I think I like the car with the fusion motor or the atomic overthruster. I just haven't seen it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, Bitcoin at its core is more of an ideology. The ideology is let's implement conservation of energy in cyberspace via a protocol which is fair and equitable.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, giving us his opinion on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ethics across the market. He sees that the economic issues that are happening in Sri Lanka right now are a good use case for Bitcoin as a way to avoid starvation. Saylor has also seen a fair and honorable protocol being implemented that focuses on the conservation of energy in cyberspace and believes that the other protocols out there are quite the opposite. Michael Saylor has also noticed that most people in the crypto industry are wasting time and energy in their greed, arrogance, and desire to get rich, trying to reinvent the wheel. Let's check out this interview with Michael Saylor as he thinks a market shift is beginning to happen. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content we do here on this channel. Let's get right into the video.
The use case is if you live in Sri Lanka and you had money in a bank, you've lost it all. You're going to lose it all. And if you have money and property in Sri Lanka, it's kind of hard to rent your property or Airbnb it out when the government makes it illegal for tourists to show up. Right?
So it is a good example.
Yeah, it's how you avoid starving to death if you live in a economy that is mismanaged. Every other thing that competes with it isn't a fair and equitable protocol for implementing conservation of energy in cyberspace. It's something different, right? When you start inflating the supply of the tokens by 5%, or when you have a foundation or an issuer, an ICO or an investment contract, and it's proprietary, or you keep hard forking, right? That's not conservation of energy via an open permissionless protocol in cyberspace. It's something different. The things that are closest to Bitcoin, right, were the Bitcoin forks, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. And if you look at Bitcoin Cash, it has collapsed by 99.5%, right? It's now like 50 basis points of Bitcoin. So and I would say Bitcoin Cash, right, is probably the closest thing to Bitcoin that was supposed to be an improvement. Obviously not. So I think that the most important point here is somebody invented mathematics, and we were living without mathematics. And now you've got mathematics base 10, and you can design planes and trains and automobiles and electric power plants and radios and modern technology, and you can fly to the moon with mathematics. Now, are you going to quibble with me over whether the math should be base 10 or base 8 or base 4? Like Isaac Newton wrote Principia Mathematica, and it was pretty much all the math that 99.99% of the people will ever need or know in their life. There, it's done, right? 200 years ago, it's pretty good. And now if entrepreneurs keep launching base 8 math and base 16 math and base 4 math and base 32 math, and they come up with all these other, we don't want Arabic numerals anymore. We want Roman numerals, or we want like the Cylon warrior numerals. Yeah, they're all different forms of math. But the question is this good enough? And the answer is, it's good enough. If you can create nuclear weapons with it, and you can create Teslas with it, and you can create airplanes with it, and create bridges with it, and create skyscrapers with it, it's good enough.
Saylor has seen people trying to remake the iOS in a scheme to make money quickly. Michael has also observed that people are using up all their energy by coming up with the creative, far-fetched scenarios where Bitcoin would be in danger to try to justify the use of their own coin. He goes on to say that this could lead to trying to use unregistered securities, which naturally leads down an illegal and unethical path.
So at some point, all of the tinkering trying to reinvent the wheel is dysfunctional. I think most of the people in the crypto industry, they keep trying to reinvent the wheel because there's some measure of ignorance and arrogance, right, and greed. They kind of want to get rich, but If you're greedy, a better way to get rich is build an application on top of Bitcoin using the token. It's like all the people that want to reinvent the iOS, which is not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. How about build an app on top of the iOS? Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do something new. And in this case, I just think a lot of energy is wasted, either worrying, like people come up with all these creative possible scenarios under which Bitcoin might be in trouble so that they can justify their coin. It's like, I have a quantum resistant coin. And do you know that theoretically I can imagine blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just silly, ridiculous stuff, but it goes on, and it's an incredible waste of energy. It's like you're wasting your life. And if it causes you to veer into the practice of issuing your own unregistered security, it takes you down a dark, unethical path too. Like, it's illegal, it's unethical, and it's also stupid, waste of time. So, like, I think it's worthwhile to consider carefully, right? And defend the network, think about the network. But for the most part, the creativity that's going to increase the ecosystem, the economy, by a factor of 100 is mostly going to take place on layers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bitcoin at layer 1, it's good enough. It's good enough to be a $100 trillion base layer. It's good enough to be 200x bigger than it is. It's good enough to be a $500 trillion base layer, right? That's not the part that needs fixing. That's the base 10 math. At this point, everybody ought to be working on applications, derivatives, services, other protocols, and they ought to stop trying to reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's just not very productive, right? The shortcut is issuing an unregistered security. So there really isn't an example that I can think of any kind of smart contract network or proof of stake or crypto network that competes with Bitcoin that didn't take the shortcut of an unregistered security. They're not decentralized. So all of the legitimate talent is working on top of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and they are there, right? If you're honest and ethical and competent, you're building stuff on Lightning or you're building an application.
Saylor cannot think of a single proof of stake, smart contract, or crypto network that can compete with Bitcoin that does not take the illegal unregistered security shortcut, all which have shown to be a big waste of time in the long run. The MicroStrategy CEO says that all of the authentic talent in the crypto industry is working at the very top of the Bitcoin ecosystem, honestly and ethically, while doing skillful work like building things on the Lightning Network or creating applications. What do you guys think about Saylor's view on the necessity for securities to be legal and the effect they're having on financial and economic markets during the current cycle? Comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.